Hi, this is Ryan Bush again with Pacific Reiki in San Jose and Aptos. In this video, I wanted to talk a little about what it means when we put our hands together in the prayer position, or the Gassho as it's called in Japanese. After all, that's a position that I use at the beginning and end of all my videos. It's also a gesture we do when we're about to begin a meditation or some other kind of practice, and afterwards when we're giving thanks for the chance to practice. Some people may have different kinds of associations or preconceptions based on their experience with things like religion and spirituality. So it's worth saying a little about the various levels of meaning so that if this gesture doesn't feel like something that feels natural to folks, there are many different ways to approach it so that it hopefully starts to feel like something that makes more sense within our practice. So first of all, when we're putting our hands together in this way, it isn't only about a symbolic gesture. We'll talk later in the video about what these symbolic levels can mean, but there's something important, first of all, about just having some kind of marker that we're about to begin a practice, that we're leaving behind everything we were experiencing before we begin the practice, letting go of any things that might be going on in our minds or emotions. We're setting aside some time to try to practice in some way. But beyond that basic marker of entering this different state of being, there is also a lot to say about the physical act of connection between our two hands and also how energy is joined together in this process. So to reflect on these different kinds of connection, we can actually do a little meditation together. So we can begin by putting our hands in this position and setting our intention to just explore whatever comes up as we join our hands together in the prayer position. So, when we have our hands joined together in this way, we can start by exploring different ways that our hands can be joined together. We don't have to press them really firmly together. We can try having them joined as gently as is humanly possible. We could start by joining just one fingertip from one hand with one fingertip from the other hand, and feel that connection as gently as possible. And then we can add another finger and another, adding our thumb, gradually adding connection between our palms. And as we do this, we can try to keep all parts of our hand, wrists, and arms as relaxed as possible, and just really explore the connection between our left and right sides as if we've never experienced it ever before in our lives, with that beginner's mind of curiosity and wonder at these sensations we might not have noticed before. And as we're joining these two sides together, our left and right sides, we can notice that it's also a way of balancing between these two sides. After all, our left and right sides aren't completely equal. Usually one side is more dominant than the other, and these two sides can have a lot of differences. We might notice that, for example, if we're right-handed, we might use our right hand mostly for pretty much everything, and we might not notice all the wonderful things about our non-dominant hand, that our non-dominant hand may sometimes actually be more sensitive and more able to notice the tiniest, most minute sensations. Our non-dominant hand might also be more able to draw energy and receive energy, whereas our dominant hand might be better at projecting energy and doing all the things we usually use our dominant hand for. So when we put our hands together in the prayer position, we're not just physically joining our left and right sides, we're also joining the sides of ourselves that could be called the yin and yang sides, or the masculine and feminine sides. However we think of the left and right sides, we can join them together with far more love and awareness than we usually bring to the two halves of ourselves. And as we have our hands joined together, we can think of joining all parts of our left and right sides, from the top of our head down to the bottoms of our feet. And we can think about joining all other parts of ourselves together, from the lowest levels of our being, with what we could call the animal self or the unconscious aspects, what could be called the shadow, up through the ordinary level of our being and the higher level of our being that is sometimes talked about as the Reiki space, sometimes talked about as the Buddha self, Christ consciousness, soul or spirit. But the Gassho or prayer position can be a way of reminding ourselves to connect all parts of ourselves together with as much gentleness, love, and compassion as we can bring. And we can continue the meditation for as long as feels right, joining the various parts of ourselves together in this very gentle and curious way, feeling the love and connection between all parts of ourselves that we may never have noticed before or never felt moved to give. And when we're done, with our hands still in the prayer position, we can give gratitude for the chance to practice, and then gradually come back into the room. So I hope this shows that there's a whole lot more to the prayer position than just giving a gesture that we're about to begin in practice or ending in practice. And for anyone who might have different associations or preconceptions, religion or spirituality, I hope this shows that there are many different ways to approach it, that we can let go of any associations we might have from the past. If anyone has any thoughts or questions, please let me know. Peace, love, and blessings.